All right, we're back here for another session. We'll go ahead and get started. Joining me today, we have President of CSVA, Chris Luke, and Chris, we're just going to kind of go through what's going on right now with CSVA. I know you guys are, obviously being a member and a president and a video director. You just finished one. You kind of jump right back into to being El Presidente here for our organization. So just give us a little update as far as where we are as an organization here at this time.
Well, I know it never stops. You know what I mean? It's certainly it goes ebb and flow, but it never stops. That's for sure. Basically, once I came back from my bowl game, I basically took a couple days off, but then I actually went into the office for a couple days because, as I told my wife, I was like, I need to have just 8 hours of unobtrusive time in my office to just sit and plan this stuff. And today's Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I had a nearly 2-hour meeting with the planner at the hotel out in Phoenix, and it just goes through the logistics of stuff. We went through the schedule that we've basically used as a template last year, and just going through it and sorting out who goes in what rooms and what times we're going to do, and what if we're going to do meals at the property or if we're not going to do that. Basically just getting all that stuff kind of sorted out first. And I've learned in the process that's what you got to get done first because you want to make sure that it flows well. One of the things that I personally, Saber makes fun of me, but I don't like people coming up to me like, hey, what floor is that on again? So I want to make sure that you get the rooms are in the right place so that once you see it, you're like, all right, I know where to go. I don't have to keep, hey, was that on the second, third floor, fifth floor? Where's that at? So that's one of the things that you spend the time on the phone and talking to her and getting to make sure the rooms are reserved right and all that stuff. So that's the first part of it.
Okay. So obviously you've done a lot of the legwork with the hotel as far as that goes. I've seen a little bit as far as coming up with different vendors and such. Where are we as far as vendors go? Is that where we're at now with registration on vendors?
Yes, right now Darby is actually handling all of the vendor relations. She is kind of the head of this group. We talked about back in May at the conference. We were going to get into groups. I've sent emails out to the different groups. I think there's 7 different groups that I had come up with. Sent those emails out, so hopefully they're having discussions so that when we get to the latter part of this month or first part of February after everybody gets done with recruiting and there's a little bit of a break. Ideally, I'd like to think by the middle of February, everybody's kind of an idea of what they want to do, because timing obviously comes into play on that stuff. A lot of times we all think of stuff when it's late April, and it's like that's too late. We can certainly come up with some things at the end of late April, but we want to, get the majority of the stuff figured out before that. But Darby is doing a great job with the vendors. I want to say we've already had 5 or 6 who have signed up and have paid, so they're in the queue to get the map. That was another one of my phone calls early last week was to the triage company out in Phoenix. It's an exposition services company called Breedy. Logistically, we have to pay the city of Phoenix to have a showroom floor that we then have to go through this company to then get the pipes and drapes to then be able to give that map back to the hotel. They pass the fire codes. That then the fire marshal says, yes, you can have the conference at this hotel with this map. It sounds a lot harder than it is, but there's so many different facets of people that you gotta ask, hey, can I do this, and then calling James and saying, hey, we're gonna have to pay for this, or we're gonna have to pay for that, and so that's what we're doing.
Is some of this a little bit out of the ordinary, what Phoenix is having us do as compared to, say, other cities that we've been in the recent past?
No, it's pretty much spot on. A lot of times when you get involved with holding a conference, I'm trying to say conference because that's what I was, we decided we were going to call it a conference. holding the conference because now it's a show floor. A lot of different moving parts come involved in that. You know, you've got vendors who are coming in who want certain sizes, who then, once we get the map, we go basically in the order of how they paid, when they paid. So if you paid in January, you're going to get the prime spot. If you pay in April, you're going to get the last of the, last spots. Every year is a different set of challenges, just in terms of meeting rooms, just in terms of where the rooms are. Like when we were in Tampa, the room that we were in was a little bit smaller for our 2-minute drill and our roundtable discussions. Whereas last year it was a gigantic room. Whereas when we were in Denver, it was a giant theater. It's every hotel is designed differently, but now that we are going to more of these hotels that need at least 10,000 square feet as a showroom, you're getting, okay, we've got another room that is big enough for you to hold 150 people. But, so yeah, there's no real variables. Real hotel variables. It's all kind of the same, but it's all got to be done. It's like picking out the food. Go in your head and say, okay, well, what does everybody like on Tuesday? Well, we can't have macaroni and cheese on Tuesday and Wednesday. So, but then on Thursday we're going to go eat, I don't know, whatever we're going to go eat. You don't want to have Mexican, then Mexican, and then Mexican. You want everybody to have a good experience and enjoy the food. Those are little things like that I think about and want to make sure that it flows and everybody enjoys it.
Schedule-wise, I know you said we talked last night. You said you're starting to gather a schedule. How is that? I know this is just a day later, but is that just you're using the same template as last year, and then we're kind of trying to plug and play? Are you looking for different ideas? Is that something that the membership can help you come up with, say, for different topics on things, or do you have a pretty good idea as far as what you think we're going to talk about?
We basically, right now I'm looking at my schedule right now. I took last year's and ironically, I think we've been using the same schedule template for probably 4 years. Eric made this way back when we were in Denver, and I literally just copy paste and then move it around. I'm sure one of these years somebody else will take it and go, you know what, I can make this into a smaller schedule, but it's easier just to wash, rinse, repeat. So I went in today and I was doing like the rooms. I took out all the round tables. We had round tables on Monday of last year. Because the travel this year is West Coast, it's Mountain Time, so if people were to get early flights on Monday, if they get in by 2 o'clock, we may only be able to possibly have 1 or 2 on that Monday. But if enough people were to come out late on Sunday night, for instance, I've got a couple people who are flying out of Raleigh at 6:40 on Sunday night. They get into Phoenix at like 9:30, which again, you think about it, light enough in the day. It's Mother's Day. Everybody's wives are happy that you've stayed around for Mother's Day, and then you can travel that night and get out there. I'm sure Rick Bagby, if he was coming, he would be golfing on Monday morning. Bright and early. Brett Green may be doing the same thing. But giving guys something to do. That Monday night, right now, the plan for us is to do a similar to what we did in Denver. We're going to buy a bunch of tickets and go to the Arizona Diamondbacks and Washington Nationals game. I want to say it starts at 6:40, and right now we're going to make that the member vendor event. We're working with the vendors to see if they want to do anything else, for it. But right now, that'd be what we would do on that Monday. Tuesday is going to be pretty much the same format that we would do last year, where we do our registration in the morning. Our 2-minute drill, our opening. The exhibit hall will be open the majority of the day. We'll get into discussions about post-production seminars, if those were beneficial for guys last year and gals. Do those in the afternoon on that Tuesday. And then, Tuesday night's your open night to go do whatever you want to do with whatever vendor. Wednesday, same thing. I have spoken with Mary, like you and I talked about, with a discussion on some of the photos. I was showing them to her yesterday. I went to lunch with her, and she was talking about how it would be beneficial for for her, and she's got a colleague at Arizona State out there to maybe talk about the logistics of how to report it and how to correctly report it to your safety people, and go along that. So we've thrown that idea around.
Hey, Chris.
Yep.
Just sorry, and this isn't auto jumping around for me. Would it be beneficial for us maybe to have somebody come out from, say, the Cactus Bowl or from the Fiesta Bowl to kind of come out and say, hey, what's the best way to approach a bowl as far as X, Y, and Z goes? Just as far as maybe some of the safety issues go even.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's the case. I mean, it's one of those things where somebody wants to reach out to them or get a number and do it that way. I'm all ears for it. The biggest thing that we always deal with every year is we're trying to get this stuff sorted out by April 1st. Sometimes people's schedules can't just flip on a dime and be there on May 12th. So you got to talk to them in January and February and March to then hopefully get them to May. But yeah, that's certainly something that is another idea for a roundtable. When we've thrown out, hopefully having one of these roundtables as a discussion about the data template that we actually this morning Jake was in Louisville and he talked to the head coaches and they were on board with it. He had a good talk with that, and so getting it to get some legs and whatnot will be I'm sure a topic of conversation at the conference too. But yeah, I mean, those are the little things like that. We're talking about what would we do on Thursday. I think we've talked about possibly doing a poll, and you can certainly assist with it. But is it something that you get up on Thursday morning? Would you rather go to the Cardinals facility, or go to the Cardinals stadium, or take a tour of the Diamondbacks baseball facility? Since it's you were just there on Monday night. Those are things like that we're trying to come up with right now as events, leading into everyone's favorite banquet and then casino night on Thursday night.
Gotcha. You say and I haven't done any research. You've done probably a ton on this. I assume you talked last time I remember it was, hey, we're in the heart of Phoenix. I assume there's a lot of entertainment around the hotel. You probably have done a lot of research on this.
I've done enough that I've seen there's different things around there. There's a Lucky Strike. There's some comedy clubs. There's some different restaurants. There's quite a bit of stuff within walking distance, and it's May, so it won't be too hot. I know James Ferrand made that comment about it's only going to be 102 or something like that at night. Which again, that's one of those things you think about. So yeah, there's certainly stuff within walking distance. I want to say we're 2.5 blocks from Chase Field. I want to say that sounds correct. I just got an email this morning about the People Mover monorail system or whatever that you can hopefully take. If people don't want to take that, I'm working on like the shuttle bus companies to do a discount at least for that. Those are those little things that, like I said, you think about entertainment-wise and logistics and all of those things. Alex Hodge had a great point talking about an event going out. I guess there's a place out in Scottsdale where it's like 3 decks of golf ball. You tee off and driving range, and then it's like a bar in the same place or something like that. So something like that is certainly something on our radar that we go, all right, well that could be something we could do. We go there for lunch on Thursday. Who knows? I mean, not going to stay that I'm going to say that we're going to do that because cost obviously comes into it. But you want to have some fun, but also be beneficial.
You looking for ideas for the how do I put it best? The gift, I guess the bowl or not bowl, the conference gift. In past years, it's been T-shirts or the helmet and stuff like that. Are you looking for ideas, or do you have ideas?
I have 2 different ideas for myself, but I mean, like Jevin Stone brought up that T-shirt / sweatshirt that was pretty funny. We've seen different hats. There's a multitude of different things. We got a little hard drive business card from the Motor City Bowl, that it flips open and it becomes a USB drive, but yet it sits on your desk as like a not like a caster or something on your desk where you can just sit it on your desk as a little artifact. That could be something where we could buy that and give everybody the book, the hard copy of all of the different stuff, rather than printing out the paper and spending in excess of $3,000 or $4,000 on printing those out. Just little things like that. We try to keep that gift anywhere from $15 to $25 to $30 at the most total. Because again, at that point you're thinking about it. If you spend $30 on a gift times 150, well, right away that's $4,500 that we're giving away stuff. So you want to make sure that that's something that everybody can use, and it's going to be good. Like the boonie we had a couple years ago, everybody used those, and the hats from a couple years back too. So certainly anything that you can think of, I'm always ready to think of. Yep. They got the helmet sitting on my desk too. So.
I don't have too much else. This was just kind of a quick hit, and I think what we'll try to do is try to do these monthly, so that we're kind of, as a membership, we're trying to keep people excited about membership. I know right now the hotel registration is open. Mm-hmm. Membership registration is open. There's the link for hotel registration is on top of the CSVA Facebook page. If you don't have that, email me, email Chris, email any member of the executive board or your conference rep. We can get that out to you. CSVA.com to get registered as a member. Do it now because your membership ran out 13 days ago. So go ahead and get registered. As far as your hotel, book for a decent chunk of time. Make sure that if you book and then all of a sudden you're not going to be there, let an exec board member know. Let Chris know, and we'll try to get that appointed. Especially when it comes closer to convention time, we can get people to fill the room. You won't be billed for it, but we can get people in the room at the discounted rate so that you're getting that discounted rate.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I stress every year is, we need to fill 80% of our, in fact, the date, let's say the date is 4/20. So by 4/20, we need to have at least 80% of our, I think we're at 400 room blocks. So that is, quick count, 480. We need to have I want to say it's 410 of the room nights booked. Or we pay a penalty. It's I don't know what the dollar amount is, but there's a dollar amount there that we would have to pay. There's limited numbers of doubles at the hotel, so I encourage people that if you need a double, get those. Certainly they'll still have kings with sofa beds and whatnot. You can do those, but the majority of the rooms are kings and a few doubles and queens. You've got those. I encourage people to come out Sunday night late. Travel is, I want to say from the East Coast, my flight time, I'm coming out on Saturday. I want to say the flight said it was right at about 4.5, 5 hours. So unless you're planning on getting up super early on Monday morning to fly up and get out there by 2 o'clock in the afternoon or so, I'd encourage you to come in on Sunday night. We'll have plenty of stuff that we need to get accomplished out there in terms of setting stuff up and getting the rooms ready and getting all the vendors in the rooms. So make an event of it. Stay an extra day even. The room rate can go before and after. I want to say it's 3 days before and after. So if you want to make a vacation out of it with your wife, do that.
Yep. I assume that when we register that there is a notation for wives, or do we need to contact exec board members?
Yeah, I would say right now we haven't added that before. It's still just been kind of one of those contact me or James or even Darby or even Jake, and just tell them, hey, my wife's coming along. That way it just helps me with my counts for meals. I don't have to turn those meal counts in until about, I want to say it's right at about 2 weeks before. So if the conference is on the 11th, I want to say I have to turn those in on like the 1st. I want to say is what that is. It's like that Friday before the week before, so that we can add more from it. So if we have 150, we can go up. We just can't go down. And we obviously want to have just the right amount of food, but we don't want to get overcharged, by them. So that's why it's important to get everybody to communicate with us and say, yeah, I'm coming. Here's when I'm coming. Here's what I'm not coming to. So that we can get an accurate count. That's always the biggest logistical nightmare for us is getting guys and gals to sign up, to get their hotel rooms, and then tell us, what they're wanting to do. If they're just in to do everything, awesome, that's great. We'll count you that. But once we get into like last year where we went to the Houston Texans and we got told we had 2 buses and we only needed 40. We were like, all right, we got 2 buses, we're 80 people. And then that Thursday morning, 125 people come out, and you're like, oh, wow, okay. So that's one of those things that it doesn't irk me, it doesn't bug me. It's a product of what happens, but those things matter to the board to try to get the logistics there, because we didn't want everybody to miss, and it did.
All right. Well, I think we've covered everything. I think some things on the horizon. We've kind of already talked a little bit about making sure you get registered, make sure you get your hotel room. Next things kind of coming up are CSVA Awards. Those will be coming up, I imagine, shortly, and we'll hear from Jake from State Farm about that. Jake at Louisville, as far as CSVA Awards.
Yeah, we've got, as I look at my groups right now, I have a whole email with groups. The Savvy voting group will be Jason Sanders, Scott Eilert, and Errol Sieber have been the 3 that have kind of come forward and said that they would help with that. So they'll be the ones that will be in charge of distributing and getting all of the information out about that, rules, all those different things. They're going to look at and see what categories need to be done this year, et cetera, et cetera. You guys are in the multimedia group. Joel Schilling and then Purcell is working on hopefully an app possibly for us. The host group I've added James Foran and then Alex Hodge to help me with that. The VC of the year will be Jake, Elizabeth Lambert, and Bill Guerin. They'll be the ones in charge of getting the votes to everybody for that. And then vendor relations will be Darby, and then Roger Hayhurst and DJ Welty and Dory Kong are assisting her with that to make sure that you get all of the different vendors that we can think of who are going to be, who want to come to the convention. Right now, those are the biggest ones. We have a couple other groups, but they're kind of in the background right now. We're making sure we get people. We've got a membership brand promotion group that has Todd Blumen and Jevin Stone and Christopher Michael Miller, who that's the group that, hey, let's come up with something cool. And Jevin's already come up with that sweatshirt. I've asked him to find out that where that photo was that he posted on there to see if we can get a decent cost for it. And then again, like I said, those are the different groups that we have, but I'm actually going to have our past president also get involved. He's going to probably be the one.
Which one?
Eric Huntu will be, he's serving his 1-year past presidency, and he'll have a couple jobs there in the next couple of weeks too that I'm going to hand off to him and delegate to him as well. So it's ramping up. We're still flying over the country, but we haven't put the landing gear down to come yet. But we're just cruising altitude right now, planning everything.
Perfect. Sounds great. Well, we're looking forward to it. And do we one thing before I let you go, because we're about a month away from needing a month and a half from needing the information, is do we have a group that is in charge of getting the NFL contacts for pro days?
I will be the one again that will be calling people on that. I took that one kind of by the horns last year and did it. So once the NFL, after the combine, develops that master list, there's no doubt I may end up having a couple people say, hey, you take this day, I'll take this day, and just calling people and reminding them to send it into the Dub Center. Yeah, that's certainly on the horizon for sure.
Perfect. Sounds great. Well, hey, Chris, I appreciate it. Guys, get your hotel rooms, get your CSVA membership and get your flights booked. We'll do this again in about 1 month or so.
Cool.
All right, thanks, Chris.
All right, have a good one.